Hey everyone, so just a quick day trip today to go up to Hawk Mountain Sanctuary in Kempton, PA, about an hour away. Just getting over being sick and getting COVID, so started to run again, and now, trying to get a hike in to see how my respiratory system is gonna work. I think I'm pretty good, a little congestion, but for the most part, I think I'm ready to get back out there. So we're here. And it looks like these are obviously where the sanctuary trails are. There's a lot of different gates here, and like if there's a visitor center back there. But it looks like this is a 5.5 mile loop that takes us up Hawk Mountain. So they have this, I guess, daily count. I guess today or yesterday, there were these in that middle section here. And then today, as of 9 a.m., that's what they're seeing. So hopefully we'll be able to see some stuff here, but this is pretty cool. Hi.
What they consider the north lookout up there?
No, it's this way. We cannot see it from here. But
Okay.
that way.
So that was the south lookout, kind of the first point after you go up the initial trail. Now we're on the loop trail, so this will go around up to Hawk Mountain and then back around the other side, and we'll end up at that south lookout again. So I kind of want to get to more the middle of the trail. I guess that's the River of Rocks right there.
No fear, that's the problem.
Philadelphia won last night.
Yeah, I know.
Wasn't it a shutout?
It was a zip.
7-0 or something? Are they playing against tonight?
So I was waiting for when this trail was going to end up teetering on that hard designation. And as you can tell, we are climbing down. There's really no path. There's these blue markings that designate the Skyline Trail. That sign up there says it. So we're going to be heading down this, and most people are up there, kind of probably the best spot to see the birds, the hawks and stuff. So I can't sit still though, so I'm gonna keep going. So just thought I'd get this. This is a little bit better angle of what we're doing here. So that's where we came from. Keep having to put my phone away because if it's in my pocket, it's gonna fall out, but just really scaling this mountain here on the top here. It's pretty much just a straight up, straight down. So we're literally on the ridge going across for a good majority of the way. So it's to be expected, but the moment we go down, which you can see, I kind of was going over some flat terrain just now. We're going right back up. So gonna be climbing up there. And it's probably just gonna keep going over and down, up and down, like over and down. So this is super fun. I'm really excited because sometimes I see hard trail and I think, sometimes they're not so hard. It's just like rated hard because of the skewing of the, you know, the curving of people's difficulty, but this is hard. Let me put my phone away and I just don't feel comfortable keeping it in my pocket right now, but it's worth showing all of this. So take a look. So that's where we just came from. Looks like that ends a little bit of the rocky area, or the main, you know, what I think is at least the main beginning rocky area, because we do see more rocks and we're going right over this. So it's just a little more level, and anything, you know, kind of, this trumps everything. So we'll see what else we get, but we're not across the ridge yet. We're like maybe a quarter of the way, halfway there. So there's a lot more to go, but this is really fun. So as you can see, right there, we are on Golden Eagle Trail, lined up with Sky View or whatever trail we were on before. But this is taking us, as I mentioned, over the ridge. Just a little bit about what I've seen so far. A lot of birds, but in terms of hawks, definitely just a lot of turkey vultures. And mostly on those rocks. I couldn't take them because I was kind of in the middle of a descent and not really a good place to film, but I stopped and saw 3 turkey vulture hawks. So we're gonna keep our hopes up for seeing more, but not really here exactly for that. I know this is a really nice area with nice views, and you know, you see them, you see them. To be honest, I see, you know, falcons and red-tailed hawks, like just in my normal walking travels. They seem to be guides. So I'm not too beat up about seeing them or not here. This is more about kind of the hike, and if it was about that, I would have stayed up in those rocks, because there were like 20 people kind of camped out there with their big camera setups and everything, trying to get the photos. So they're definitely doing some bird watching, and I've seen one person coming from this way as I was on the rocks. She was going up, I was going down. So there's definitely people doing it the whole trail, but not a lot, and so that's kind of nice too. So it looks like we're seeing them up here. Turkey vultures, again, they might have been the same three I saw flying when I was climbing the rocks because they were headed this way. But that one's showing off, and I don't know if you can see that rainbow going right through that hawk right now. It's like perfectly aligned with it. It's kind of weird. That's pretty amazing. I don't know if you just saw that, but another one flew in over there. They're definitely watching this one. So I think there's some kind of like mating dance. There's another one flying back there. Look at this. So just to put it in perspective, where we just were when we saw those turkey vultures, that was the other side of that ravine that we saw in the first view. So like that is where we kind of started on that ridge. I'm not sure if it's exactly in that spot right there, but it was on that side, and we went all the way around and up that rock peak, which is the north lookout, and we were just at the east lookout, which so far has been my favorite. No one's been there, but obviously it's my favorite since they were like so close. So now we're kind of going around. We got this rock path going down to the River of Rocks trail that we saw kind of way back, and we're gonna pick that up after we head off the head off the Skyview Trail, which is this blue trail, which goes and matches up with the Appalachian Trail and just continues to go down the ridge. So we're just gonna take the Golden Eagle Trail, which now heads again around here down, and then we meet up with that River of Rocks trail, and we make our way back up to where that south gate was, that first gate or first lookout. So I'll definitely talk about the trail a little at the end, but I do want to mention it is a hard trail. It's a very hard trail. Where we were over there, those are like the leisure paths, so anybody could do those. You could just walk up and see the views, and they're right in the front, those first few views. But if you're looking to hike or do something a little bit more strenuous, you got to go down the Skyview and through that like hand to the ground climb. So it's very hard. It's very, very hard. I mean, it's as hard as it gets, you know, so don't underestimate that part of it. Although you could probably climb up this south way and go to it and then go back and maybe even hit the Golden Eagle to kind of skip that. I think that's what that's for. But you know, all in all, I'll show you the map when we get done, but it's a hard trail, and it's nice though. It's a very nice trail. Just a lot of climbing. So this is where we split, where Blue Trail continues down that way, and that's the Appalachian Trail, and that takes you out of the Hawk Mountain Preserve. We're kind of going out into Appalachian Trail long ways, right? Skyline Trail is what it's called here, but it meets up with Appalachian Trail, I believe a mile down. Yellow Trail is Golden Eagle, so that's going to take us back to, as I mentioned, the River Rocks Trail, and then back up around to the south rim, which is over there. So that's where we're headed. Let's keep going. So we sort of did that in reverse. And I'm glad I did, because it was a little bit more coming down than it was going up. And with getting over being sick and stuff, it's kind of best to go down. Although now that just means that we're going up to get back up there, which is where we need to go. So this is the River of Rocks Trail. And this is pretty rugged too. We're actually going to take a little bit of this, and I'll show you at the end on the map where I kind of went into this other trail for just a moment, just to kind of see it, and then when we went back up. But I'm not too worried about timing. I mean, it's like 2 o'clock, so we have plenty of time. So I see the River of Rocks over there, if you can kind of see it in there, but we're headed there, so I'm assuming we're going to get over there. But yeah, I think around this turn, so I'll catch you on there. So it looks like it has us going around, and I don't know if we ever end up getting to walking on this. So we're gonna take a little shortcut, and we're gonna go into this and see it before we end up walking around it. I don't know if it's gonna be true, but yeah, I think this takes us around. So let's check this out. So if I'm not mistaken, earlier in the video in the beginning, we were up there. We were up there looking down at this patch of rocks. I think I, in fact, pointed it out. So you can kind of get a sense of where we are now, down in the valley. You know, and there's no way that this is the path here. So we're gonna head back to get back on the path. I had a feeling it was gonna take us around. There's no way. I mean, it's actually a little treacherous on the path because there's so many leaves and so many rocks, but it's nothing like this. I mean, this is literally a river of rocks. So there's no way that we would be able to, I mean, we definitely could. I definitely could. Ringing Rocks had a path that kind of went on the rocks, and I have no doubt I could do this, but I don't think it's necessarily allowed, and we're gonna wanna stay on the path, especially because I don't know how long it lasts. This looks a lot longer than Ringing Rocks, which was maybe about to like here, literally, and that goes all the way over there. But we're headed back up there, which is where we were, as I mentioned. So I'm gonna get back on the path, and then we'll see if we can get more views on the way up when we head back to the south view. I mean, does that not look like a dragon egg or what? That's really weird. As you can tell, there's quite a river of rocks here to walk on. So this is why it's called that, but that is literally a river of it. This is a little easier, but to be honest, it's not that much easier because of the leaves. So I think it's just slightly more structurally sound rocks, as there were a lot of moving ones over there. Or maybe they haven't really tested it all out. Although you got to be careful where you step here and back up by the east and north lookout, because there's definitely some rocks that have painted markings on them that move. So you have to be careful. It's not just stepping exactly where the paint is. It's kind of going with your intuition and being guided through the path. Even if the red mark says it's on that rock, like, doesn't mean you have to step on that rock. That's just gonna be some advice there, but let's keep going. So we're getting our fill here. It's not quite that, which is in the sun area. As you can see, that was kind of what we saw before and in the beginning. Now we're doing it like completely rock style. So this is pretty crazy. I think it goes right there. So we're almost there, but then we climb up. So we got a nice little final leg here. So just to get oriented here, that's the River of Rocks back there. This is the River of Rocks trail, all of this. And as, in fact, you can see here on post number, I think this is 5 or 4. We're actually gonna keep going on this trail, but it's headed into the woods. I do see some more rocks, but now we have the final mile back up the mountain to where we were parked, where we started. So we've definitely leveled off here. So I'm taking the moment to get the nice scenery, but this is definitely a incremental climb on the way back, as I expected. But we're almost there. As you can tell, I'm pretty sweaty now. It was kind of a straight up incline. As you can see, really nice view up here. So I'm taking one last stop, but we basically were over there on the ridge. That's the ridge we were kind of going across. And in fact, I don't know if you could see it, but right up there, it's hard to see on camera, is that east watch. And so we came down here into there, all the way down there, and then came up this side right up here. And so as you can see, there's a car going by, but we're near the road, near the end. I just wanted to take one more moment to enjoy this. This was a pretty good hike, pretty nice hike. I'll get the map when I get to the car, but I'll just briefly reiterate that this is a very hard hike. It's a very hard hike, although it can be you can make it what you want it to be. Meaning, if you want to just see some of the sights, go to the south view and just walk that little short path that's kind of flat. If you want to see, I think the most popular view is probably that north peak that I was on before I started climbing down those rocks on Skyline Ridge. And then my favorite was the east one, which I think I actually see some people sitting over there. It might be the fence, but it was definitely the most interesting. Definitely saw the most birds, although mostly turkey vultures. And yeah, it's what you make of it, but definitely don't underestimate. If you're doing the perimeter, it's going to be a difficult hike. So you can even see where that little patch of the River Rocks trail is peeking out. That's kind of where I was, probably the section you saw when I was down there, and then from the beginning. So you get a little peek of it down there. So I didn't even realize it when I was here earlier, but we've come full circle, because that's the path right behind that sign is where the South Trail went and where I came from going around. So did the whole circle. One other thing I want to mention, I'm just checking this thing out again, and they have 18 total. So as you can see, nothing there. There's nothing there. And I'm pretty sure that those, I think I saw 8 of them. There must have been like 8 up there, 8 turkey vultures. And I thought they were the most common. So I don't know if they're just not marking them down, if they're not really the glamorous type of hawk, I guess. But it doesn't say any on there, and I definitely saw 8. So I'm back at the car. I'm gonna pop the trail right here. It's about 5.5 miles if you do the whole perimeter and some of the inlets. I kind of mentioned the trail and the difficulty and all that on my, on the trail, so I'm gonna leave that there. But the one thing I do want to mention is the great thing about using all trails is, as you can tell, it tells the moving time, which is about 3.5 hours. I was on the trail for over 4 hours, so it definitely kind of gives you more of an indication as to the amount you're moving, and that's a nice little feature there. But you can see it right there, that little hook, I believe it's down here on the bottom left, was where we went to River Rocks Trail. And then I will, on the map, make notice of the lookouts, but that was a little kind of peninsula we took as a detour to see that part. But other than that, really nice trail, really nice day. Definitely a difficult hike, but something that is definitely memorable. So on to the next trip.